Hello, friends. I welcome you to another installment of what, because it helps me to focus myself, I am calling musings, arguments, prayers. I'm musing about things. The muse gives inspiration. She is kind of calling to the mind, to the soul, to the heart. Look here, look deeper, feel in this way. Think about this, reflect on this. And sometimes if you go deeply enough, you're going to laugh. And so the relationship between musings and amusement, it's not superficial amusement. I want to share with you some of my musings to, in a sense, amuse my heart and yours. I mean, we're in this life to weave everything together in some way, to all the daily steps, the tastes you've had of grace and light, non-ordinary experience, the kind of anticipation that spiritual teachings offer or readings of the wise invite us to muse about all of that. I also think of this in terms of argument, not in the sense of convincing you and have to win, not that kind of argument, but the argument of trying to make a statement clearly of how can I talk about kind of wrangling with life's fierce enigmas, with the deceptiveness with which we live our lives and hide ourselves from the potential for love. I will make an argument that realization or enlightenment is just a door to start to see your own ignorance, to see the way your ego refuses reality, how you bind yourself. I bind myself still in a kind of arrogance, in maybe the arrogance of thinking that we can create certainty in our life, the arrogance of thinking that God is something simple, like a carpenter that's organizing our world in some concrete way, who's a big judge who's, weighing this and weighing that. I don't think that's the issue at all. I would argue that God is there to make you realize that nothing you believe, nothing you stand in matters to God. And that means you have to decide what matters to you. Now, you see, this tone in the way that I talk and share has a quality of argument, because I just said you have to. But as we go through, as my life has changed, as the medium of being able to communicate this way has become available, and as time has taken my life away from sitting face to face with people in retreat, of kind of improvising exercises that lead you to a threshold in yourself. And at that threshold, if you just relax for a moment, if grace comes in and suddenly you're activated in the depth of that grace, you understand something or see something or feel something, right? But I know now at this stage of life that no matter what awakenings you've had, no matter what falling in loves or state of grace or feelings of oneness or doors that open, it's only in the weaving of those moments of the transcendental, of the divine into your life, into your daily life. That's the real grace. The grace is that you're going to be stumbling as I have been stumbling, not into enlightenment, but into everything that darkens the enlightenment that's already there. And if love is opened in your heart with another person, it won't be long before you'll begin to have to become a disciple of how you diminish that love, wound that love, kill that love. And always what you'll find is you reverted back to me, my point of view, my way of seeing, my wanting. And you've lost the sense of we, that there's something more than me meeting me, two me's. The we is something more than each of those me's. What does love want? What is a relationship that we're all wanting love? We're all seeking that deeply. And if our relationships are to offer that to us, then we must be disciples of how we, in our egos, in our me, are constantly poisoning that love, poisoning ourselves in the process. That's what's so sad. And the reason all of this is also prayer is because there's no forcing anyone. There's no reaching out and helping someone that you can't help as they struggle in the same fierce enigmas you struggle in. You see the violence in the world. You see human beings misunderstanding each other, miscommunicating, reverting not only me in the family life and in the personal life of relationship, but me in the national sense, me in the religious sense, the collective me of one religion, the collective me of one nation, the collective me of a political party, where there is not any real, true, individual, authentic human being taking a stance closer to the light of wisdom, love, intelligence. And so you stand in front of it. It doesn't serve to be angry. It doesn't serve to make judgments. It doesn't serve to spin thoughts in your minds about how it should be. At a certain point, you don't just sit in meditation and become silent. You sit in meditation. You speak your heart. You touch your friend. You listen. You do your work. You clean your house. I mean, literally, and not just metaphorically. You clean your house. You keep your environment refined so that it's a mirror back to you. I'm not talking about excessive, compulsive orderliness. I'm talking about grace. That there's a graciousness that you maintain in your environment, that there's a graciousness that you maintain in your conversation, that there's a graciousness that you maintain in your observation of your own inner thinking, so that when your thinking is dividing you, dividing your heart, dividing you from another, dividing you from anything, you just say, wait a minute, there's got to be a deeper perspective here. And the prayer is that maybe other people are asking that. Is there a deeper way to hold this? Can I look? Maybe what I have to do is look the way God looks, not with right and wrong, but just seeing. Just seeing. The prayer to see, the prayer to hear. You think we have to have moral rules imposed on ourselves, trained into us, and that's a step. Almost all spiritual teachings, like the Ten Commandments, are almost nothing about the transcendent. The eightfold path of Buddhism, very little about that is about. It's about behavior. Finish my thought. It isn't about the mystical or the transcendent. It's about behavior, because behavior, the way you behave, is the way you offer your life as a prayer. The choices you make, the graciousness of how you hold your environment, that is how your life becomes a prayer. And don't contract, because there's so much suffering in the world. Feel the heartbreak in yourself. Feeling the heartbreak in yourself is a prayer. Wanting peace on earth, that's not a prayer. That's a kind of nonsense. The prayer is coming to peace inside yourself, coming to peace with your powerlessness to change anybody else. How little you've been able to change yourself. How slow, I'm pointing to myself because I know, how slow is the process of digesting yourself, of burning up in the fire of love. And believe me, it is a fire. You don't sit there smiling. You live with something inside of you that you go, take this cup from me. You know, so many people think, oh, I'm something's wrong. I need to get more exercise. Maybe I need some antidepressant, anti-anxiety drug. Maybe you do, but sometimes you're trying to shut down the fire, and you won't know that it's a fire that's leading you into something blessed, or could, until you slow down. Slow down. You must slow down and turn inward. And in our crazy world, faster and faster and faster, more images flicking, 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 flicking. Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. Now, I leave messages on Facebook. You may be able to access this recording on Facebook. Fine. But in order for me to share with you like this, my life has to be slow. I have to let the fire burn. I have to know my limits too, because sometimes the fire just burns so much. But it brings the heart open. Then you start to feel that your life is a prayer. It's not a prayer where you're going to get the answer you want. It's a prayer for all people, all beings, all existence, to come to that deeper ground where morality is already something you know, where goodness is already something you are, where love is already ever present. And God, it's slow, isn't it? Are we getting closer? So many ways I could say, I think, yes, we are. But there's less slavery in the world. There's less poverty, or at the same depth poverty used to be in some ways, at least. Maybe not in our, excuse me, not in our earliest, you know, millennia. We've been around at least 100,000 years. But as we've organized into larger societies, and even when we were smaller ones, raiding each other, we've struggled with everything. You know, the deepest people 50,000 years ago knew their life was a prayer. Tried to find a way to be an argument, not to compel others in any way, but to show the values, the principles, the musings that happened around the fire and all. I mean, we human beings, this has never stopped. So I don't know what my next musings will be. I'm very curious about artificial intelligence and the people that believe it's either going to wipe us out, which would be good because we're destroying the world. You know, I mean, I'm going to be musing about, would, sentient AI, super sentient AI, would it be interested in you? Go read the book of Job. There are some thousands of years ago, some very deeply thoughtful, gifted writer told a story about whether God is interested or not, and God's effort to teach a human being the nonsense of the way people believe in God. Men believe in God. That's thousands of years old, and it's in the Bible. Now today, would sentient AI be interested in you? So stay tuned. Things like that are coming. Richard Moss's musings, arguments, prayers. Have a wonderful day.